Welcome to MUST-TRT, Mechanisms for Understanding the Strategies and Tactics for Testosterone Replacement Therapy. On the ebook series on hCG and how to use it, and how to use it for a lot of different circumstances and purposes, how to best use it. So, chapter 1 is routes of administration. Routes of administration means sub-Q, subcutaneous, SC, if you see it in an article, or IM, intramuscular. So SC is this typical belly fat where you pinch your stomach, put it in there, or even your thigh, but it's typically your stomach, one's the side of the umbilical of your belly button, and you put the pin, the insulin syringe needle, right into the crest of the fat. If you do it subcutaneous, you get pretty much the same response as you do intramuscular. So there isn't a whole lot of benefit to thinking, oh, it's gotta be in the muscle, or it's gotta be in the fat. It can be either, but the difference is that the AUC, or area under the curve, for the time per dose for that dose to be in your body, the maximum concentration total start to finish and out, is a little bit faster reached because of the circulation when you do it intramuscularly. And this is not my opinion, this is based on articles and stuff like that. But none of this actually matters, guys, because the practical use of hCG, routes of administration, is 10, 15 years ago, you probably wouldn't have wanted to use any old kind of ghetto hCG because it's all still comes from urinary. So if you look at it, it'll probably have a U on the vial and it'll say UHCG. The U stands for urinary. Urinary means it comes from the urine of pregnant women. That's where hCG comes from. It also, HMG, human menopausal gonadotropin, menopausal, comes from the urine of menopausal women. That's another story, but HMG has LH functionality and FSH split into an even ratio most of the time. There are other products out there, but to stay on the topic of hCG, just so you know, if you see HMG and you see people talking about it, but you don't know what it is, that's applicable too in some instances, but for our purposes of muscle, and not talking specifically about fertility, but for muscle and health, for regenerating the Leydig cell production of testosterone after a cycle or keeping it going during a cycle, hCG route of administration is subcutaneous 2 to 3 times a week, anywhere between 500 on the lowest end in the literature as far as being efficacious, meaning it works to stimulate testosterone in the Leydig cells and keep the Leydig cells from atrophying, because once you get the negative feedback from the steroids and whatever else you're doing, you shut off the LH from your pituitary, second level down, hypothalamus pituitary, pituitary to the balls, and the HPTA, or hypothalamic pituitary testicular axis, is inhibited. And it's inhibited at both levels, but essentially what matters for the balls is the LH that hooks up with the LH through the blood-testes barrier. Once it's released from the pituitary and goes to general circulation, is what we're missing during cycle. So during cycle, we'll talk about this in the next chapters, 2, 3, 4 of the book, is off cycle, on cycle, and when you take like a legit break versus a short rest, as far as the time between your anabolic steroids ceasing, stopping use, and any kind of recovery or a post-cycle recovery. So put it in the fat, body fat subcutaneous, 500 units lower end, 1500 units upper end, or IUs. The more you take above that, it's just gonna basically make a lot of estradiol, because hCG makes a lot of estradiol. So that's for routes of administration, fellas, chapter 1. Chapter 2 will be next episode.